Hello, it's Jill Broadbent with Scrapbooking Cards today, and I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of this advent calendar that I created for the most current issue of the magazine. And you can see the photography in the issue, and it is gorgeous photography, but what you can't see in photos is the dimension. And so I thought a quick little walkthrough video might be helpful to inspire you to maybe create your own advent calendar, because it has a lot of details, but it was really easy to come together. So I wanted to start by letting you know what products I used to create this. And I used everything from A Vintage Christmas, the collection by Cartabella. And so that's where all of the paper and embellishments, everything but the ribbon, came from the Cartabella collection. It is gorgeous, very traditional vintage Christmas. And then for the stamping, I used the Brooklyn lowercase solid alphabet, and it has the numbers in it. So I used those stamps to do all of my all of my numbers on the advent. So for that, I did little circles. There was a fun antiqued graph paper in the vintage collection, and so I popped those out. You could use a Cricut or just a 2-inch circle punch, and I embossed each of the numbers in gold, and then I just rolled the edges of each circle on my Versamark ink pad, and then powdered it with embossing powder and heated that up. And so the edges kind of look like a nice metal tag, but it's just embossing powder. So freehand, just roll it around the edges, and you can see it really gives it a nice finished kind of metallic feel. So that's how I did the numbers. All 24 came from one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Now for the pockets themselves, I found a library card pocket on Cricut Design Space, and so it comes open and then it folds up in half, and there's just little flaps in there that you fold in that create that pocket. And so that is the one piece. I just cut that 24 times out of the different cardstock bases that I was using. And then for the fronts, the front of the pocket, and you could scale this any size you want, obviously, because it's a cut file, but for these pockets, this front piece is 3.5 tall by 3 inches wide. And to maximize paper, I cut these squares to 3 by 3. That way I could get a lot more out of my 12 by 12 papers. And then I just added a 1/2-inch strip at the top, and that actually gives me another fun design detail. You can see here, these are washi tape, which are also in the collection. So kind of that same concept between mixing the pattern papers and using the washi tape. I was able to get that little 1/2-inch piece, which I think really kind of frames and finishes each pocket, but also it was strategic in being able to utilize a lot more of that pattern paper. So each of the pockets starts with that Cricut Design Space pocket, then a 3 by 3 square and a 1/2-inch strip on the top. Once I'd created all of those, and of course my little circle numbers, then the fun part just became embellishing. So from here, I just took all of the different elements, and there are so many things to choose from in that Cartabella collection. You can see I've embellished some with some stickers. I've used some stickers here as well as some chipboard detail. And so the little enamel dots, lots of different options. I just played around with all the embellishments from the die cut kits, the sticker sheets, the chipboard elements, and decorated each pocket. And the best way to make sure it feels a little congruent but also really unique is by utilizing the few pattern papers. So I kind of stuck with some of the smaller scale papers. You can see here, these are the 6 patterns that I used, and then I just repeated those. So a row of 6, and then another row of 6, and another row of 6. So 3 rows. Again, you could mix that up however you're going to display it, but then I made sure that this pattern didn't repeat itself right below it, and it just kept for a really nice way that it feels congruent, but it also has a lot of variety and feels really eclectic. But it's kind of purposeful in that there's not too much going on because you get some of that repetition. So fun to just play around. The tags and things are lots of different details. Some of them I made directly from pattern paper, and some were elements within the kit. And so I think that's just really fun to add maybe a scripture on each day, or something you can do as a family, an activity, bake gingerbread cookies, or even just put a fun little treat. It's big enough that you could pop something in there and have so much fun. I love advent calendars. I think it's just a fun way to get excited about the season, and having a cute new one with a gorgeous collection and a great stamp set is going to get us well on our way to a very Merry Christmas.